I used to always be like, my characters don't need any changes. Like, they're fine. But now Arxis is fucking buffing Ram every patch. So, like, I'm going to ask, you know, why not? Well, it doesn't hurt to ask. I have a big problem in this version of the game. Beak Driver existing in the same game being minus 14 on block on first hit. Kabari, H version, minus 3 on block. It travels and she's completely safe. Her reward on counter hit, if you get hit airborne, she gets like the best knockdown ever. She gets a safe jump or left, right, overhead low every time this move hits you. Minus 3 on block. The follow-up, which is like the all-in unsafe version, minus 7. If you add them together, it's still more safe than Beak 1 on block. Why is Beak 1 so bad in terms of the hurt box on it? It's very easy to poke against it. And then it's so bad on block. It's not good on hit either. It's punishable on hit. As just a neutral tool, Kabari is so much better as a neutral tool than Beak. Ram 5H is like 12 frame startup, completely disjointed the whole sword, and better on block. Let me look at the Exerd Beak hurt box. I'm actually really curious. This is Beak Driver when he is doing it normally. How the mighty have fallen. It needs like one change. Either the hurt box to not be as bad or it to not be as bad on block. That's all. It's either give me some love or take the shot. Take the shots plural. I wouldn't care about this move being like this if Beak Driver was better. I thought we'd move past the 13 frame far slash. Yeah, 13 frames is pretty slow. I actually think what he needs mostly is like some quality of life changes. I wish first hit 5H went farther so it worked more off of like 2S. His jump in's not hitting very low, so his jump attacks feel terrible air to ground. He doesn't have cross up either, and he probably needs a change to one of his core keep out moves in far slash 2S or Beak. I think this move is like perfectly fine. I don't think it needs to be low. I don't think it needs to be faster. But then if you look at the context of the rest of this patch, why did they make Testament's 2S10 or Ram's 2S10? Conversely, if they want to make him unique, they could not change his far slash or 2S and just lean in on his 2D being his poke and make 2D farther or something. Particularly, like, I don't know that he needs them personally. But then when you look at other characters in his archetype, like Testament, I mean, they buffed Rams and they made Bridget's better too. He feels like he's one patch behind. Damage and reward are way higher. That's funny because you're joking. You're not serious. Since corner carry is pretty nutty, you've been hit by Ram with all. If he gets a whiff punish into Beak Driver, he doesn't really get good Oki off of it either. I think maybe people don't realize. If he just hits you with Beak Driver, this is how far away your opponent is. You can spend stamina too to make it better, but it's like for 2 bars of stamina, it's worse than this. If he needs to be a resource heavy character, I think it's cool, but the problem is he spends his resources to do stuff worse than other characters who spend resources. I mean, if you think about Nago spending resources, you guys obviously know already this, and he is in your grill if he hits you and spends resources, right? Like he is point blank doing whatever he wants to do. Bridget's another mid-range character. She just got lots of good buffs and she always like gets this, right? She scoots in and she's there. Compare the damage on her landing 2S versus Sin landing 2S. Like it's actually pretty similar. She just gets better Oki. And her pokes are better. Even another good example, this is pretty funny, but like one of the best changes they gave to Anji in this version is they gave him better Oki. When he does Nagiha, you fucking float like there's a phantom pulling you up with wires, and then Beak Driver does not. The further away you win neutral with Beak, the farther you are too on the follow-up. So you can see, meanwhile, the knockdown on this is this into 50-50 Yozansen or low in the front. My point is, like, I think he's fine, but I do think he feels like his moves are not tuned relative to the rest of the cast in this version. He got balanced in a different place or time than like they balanced a bunch of other characters. He probably is the weakest of his archetype maybe at doing the stuff he wants to do. I think he's a pretty good character though. I mean, I plan to play him. He's certainly the weakest of all the characters that I normally play, maybe. He's definitely weaker than Gold Lewis. He's weaker than Biken. He's weaker than Testament. He's probably weaker than Soul. But when people say like, oh yeah, he gets to beak you and do, I'm like, do people understand how bad the Oki is off beak? I get the sense that they think he's really bad in Japan. I don't think he's really bad. In fact, he was pretty fine last patch. I think this patch he feels worse. And it's not because he feels bad. It's because like the rest of the cast got so many buffs. He just is like, whatever. Listen. The outfit that he's wearing is basically the energy of me at the airport. All the business people look like Soul and Kai. This is where I'm at. The joggers or the sweats, nice baggy hoodie. When you fly a lot, they upgrade you to first class for free. Someone was like asking if I belonged in first class, pointing at me and shit. I was like, yeah, what up, bro? I fly way more than this motherfucker, I'm sure of it. Come on, bro. They don't give a fuck about you. This guy bought his way here. That's the difference between me and that guy. That guy has money. I have a job.